GoLoud.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I can't get chemo when I'm pregnant. Like, and then I wasn't sure either if they could do surgery when I was pregnant either. I remember actually saying it to my doctor in Hollis Street. I was like, when you were doing my section, I was like, could you take my ovaries and fallopian tubes at the same time? And she was just
get it all done in the one.
She was like, absolutely not. She was like,
wide awake.
I just kept thinking, is the baby going to be okay?
Yeah.
You know, like I kept thinking, am I going to die and I'm not going to get to meet the baby? And
Welcome to How I Drink with Charlene and Ellie. Our podcast is like a group chat between your best friends, the girls' bathroom and night out, where you spill all the gossip and relationship dilemmas and life. If you're a return listener, welcome back. And if you're a new listener, welcome. So we're waving to the cameras. How I Drink is out for you every Wednesday at 12 p.m. But we also bring you bonus episodes every Monday at 12. So you can listen to more of us now on the GoLoud app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch us now on YouTube. 12 o'clock on Thursdays. You can watch the full podcast episode on YouTube as well.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's perfect.
3 days a week.
Lucky.
Basically half the week spent with us. This October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and on this episode we heard a very powerful story from Seanagh Rice, who was diagnosed with breast cancer while she was 26 weeks pregnant. It's just such a powerful story, and it just goes to show, I think, everyone how important it is to get the checks done, to listen to your body, all of the above, especially when it comes to this, because it's 1 in 7 women will be diagnosed in Ireland with breast cancer.
It's scary, isn't it?
7. Like, that is such a huge figure. And while we have you here, I know most people listening are women, and men can actually be diagnosed with breast cancer too.
Never knew that.
Yeah. It's 3,400 women and approximately 30 men are diagnosed with breast cancer each year in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's men too. Signs of breast cancer can include a lump or thickening in or near the breast or in the underarm area, a change in the size or shape of the breast, a dimple or puckering in the skin of the breast, a nipple turned inward into the breast, fluid other than breast milk from the nipple, especially if it's bloody, scaly red or swollen skin on the breast, nipple or areola, dimples in the breast that look like skin of an orange. It's called peau d'orange. So any of them
Are signs to kind of...
are signs to go to a doctor, get checked. Don't ignore things. I think a lot of times we're busy or we don't want to get things checked, but it's important to
You just
to
always
get them.
think, I'll be grand.
It'd be grand. Yeah.
Be grand.
Yeah.
But I think something like this now you need to take seriously.
Yeah. So those are the symptoms to look out for. Like we said, go to a doctor. Today's episode is just going to be the interview. We're not going to have any seeks and stalls. That'll be all in a bonus episode, because this is such an important topic, especially it being October, especially it being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's something we need to talk about and bring awareness to, and especially this month to keep talking about.
Yes. So we will chat to you next week.
So today on How I Drink we have Seanagh Rice. Welcome to the podcast.
thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
How are you?
Oh, good.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
We need to give a
Good.
backstory of how we know each other. Seanagh was my dance teacher.
Cute.
I literally came in today. I think I put my shoulder. Do you know Tate McRae's new song and her dance?
Did you do the dance?
Well, I tried, and I think I put my shoulder. Oh my god!
Post it.
No, I didn't. No, I'm not. I wasn't filming it. I was just.
Oh, I thought you were actually trying to do it.
I was so bad at dancing.
No,
I could sing. That was about it.
no, girl.
That was
No, you
literally it.
weren't bad. Don't be saying
In the
that.
back row. You tried. That's all that
I
matters.
just couldn't memorize.
It's a lot to learn.
dances.
You're only a baby. You know?
Yeah, true.
You were great at singing. What was the song that you sang?
Young Hearts Run Free. And I wore the little wig.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
little thing.
yeah.
I think it
Oh
was a
my
pink
God.
wig.
That was out
Very
in
cute.
Dundrum, wasn't it? Was that show? Did you do the competition with us as well?
Competition down in
Trebalgan? No.
Killarney, I think it was.
Killarney, was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
What
Yeah.
dance was it? Like, was it a dance school? Like,
Yeah, Dance City
Dance City,
Ireland
yeah.
in Lucan and Rathkill. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were in Lucan, weren't you?
Lucan,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah. Oh. Stage time. We really wanted to have you on because you've been very open in sharing your breast cancer journey. So can you give us a bit of a background of how you got diagnosed
Yeah.
and how that kind of all started?
Yeah. So I was diagnosed in February,
Mhm.
13th February. I was 29 weeks pregnant. I was diagnosed with DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ. So it's basically like in the milk duct, and it hadn't spread out of the milk duct basically. So sometimes it's like invasive DCIS, but mine wasn't, thankfully. I found out at like my breast check in the January that something had shown up on my previous MRI, and like that they sent me straight away for a biopsy and a mammogram. And I swear to God, I don't know if you've ever gotten a mammogram, but
No, my mom told me about it though. Did they
so sore.
squish your
They
I
do.
don't even know what it is. Sorry. What
It's like a
can I look at?
machine, kind of like,
Yeah.
kind of goes like that.
Okay.
And like well, it actually kind of goes in all different directions. And like you place your breasts in it basically, and it clamps down on your breast. But like being pregnant, like the girl kept saying to me, push your stomach back, push your stomach back.
Like,
I
I
was-
can't.
Yeah, I was like, I can't.
Yeah, it's not made for like
What?
No, literally not.
people.
And Carl was outside, they wouldn't let him in. And I was like, is there any chance he can come in? I feel like I'm going to faint. Like I kept having to sit down. And they done 2 of the breasts and my right one was grand, but my left one, they done it like about 3 times, like in different, like so it went in this way, then it would go in sideways and then it'd go in another way. And it was awful.
And are you standing the whole time in this
Yeah.
machine? Yeah.
Yeah, standing. So that's why I just kept thinking I was going to faint. I was like, I'm getting weak. I need to sit down. And I was prolonging it for them. I was like, look, if you just let Carl in, I was like, I'll be fine.
Just want
Yeah.
someone there.
Just let me hold his hand.
Yeah.
But anyway, they couldn't. And then that was grand. She went out and made sure that they got all the images they needed. Then brought me in to do a biopsy. And biopsies are actually grand. I got a biopsy before, so I wasn't really too worried about that. But I was just worried about fainting. So I was saying to them again. And Carl had come in on my last biopsy as well. So I was like, can he come in on this one? Because he was in on the last one and so on. And she was like, no, I'm sorry. And then a girl sat beside me and she was like, I'll hold your hand. And I was like, oh, thanks. She literally sat there the whole time, scrolling through her phone, showing me pictures of her dogs.
Oh.
She's like, look at my dog.
Good. I
Look
thought
at my
she was
dog.
yeah.
No. She was so helpful.
Oh,
Look at this photo. And yeah.
taking
that
your
helped
mind
me out.
off it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. And then it was about 10 days after that then that I went back in and they confirmed then that was DCIS.
And did you have any symptoms yourself of that, or was it just from the
No.
mammogram that you wouldn't know?
No,
otherwise?
it was just from the
Wow.
You
previous
didn't
MRI
feel
that I had gotten.
anything or didn't feel unwell or anything? Or
No, I didn't feel any lumps. Wasn't getting any pains. You know, and like when you get your period, you
Yeah.
get pains in your boobs.
Yeah.
Like I'd get them the odd time, but I wouldn't get them every time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I didn't feel any pain because I remember my mum. She had breast cancer as well, and she had a pain in her boob. I don't think she had a lump, and I think it was from a pain in her boob that she went to the doctor and was like, "I have a pain," and so on, and she got tested then as well. But yeah, no lump, no
And then
lump, no itchiness or anything like
None of what they say to
Yeah.
look out for.
that. No,
Wow.
Nothing.
And then the biopsy, how do they do that if you're like awake?
they numb it. You literally cannot feel a thing.
Wow.
So the needle, I don't know how big the needle is, but before they done it, they were like, I'm going to let you listen to this like clicking sound just so you know what it is. And it's like they put the needle in, then they click it. It's basically taking the biopsy, but like it's loud and like when it goes off, you're kind of like, you kind of jump a little bit.
Yeah.
So they were like to me, try not to move or if you hear or whatever, like, but yeah.
So they put the needle into where the cancer would be.
It was literally, they put it here.
right there.
Like right at the side. Yeah. That's where they put it on me. Like I'm sure a lot of people are different. Like if it's over this side, they probably put it in that side or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, they put it in the side of my boob.
And what stage were you at when they found it?
What stage was the
Of
cancer?
cancer, yeah.
Stage 0.
Okay.
So there was like diagrams that they showed us and it was like a normal milk duct.
Yeah.
And then like stages of the DCIS. And mine was the second last picture, which is it hadn't spread out of the duct. On the last picture then it's the invasion of it spreading out of the duct then. And I don't know what stage that would be.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be stage 4 because I was obviously stage 0 when I was on the second last photo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And what is that? What's it like to get news like that you have cancer? Like, what is it like to hear that? How
Is
does it
it
feel?
Yeah. Is it like a phone call? Is it a sit down? Like
No, it's
how
a
does it
sit down.
work?
So like
Yeah.
my consultant brought me in and Carl and my auntie Nita were with me and they told me, and obviously I was hysterical, roaring crying. But even when I went to my breast check and she told me that there was something on my previous MRI, I was crying because I was like, this can't be happening. What are they going to do? Like I'm pregnant. Is it gone too far? Because like I just wasn't sure. Like because I was like, I can't get treatment when I'm pregnant. Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, I can't get chemo when I'm pregnant. Like, and then I wasn't sure either if they could do surgery when I was pregnant either.
Yeah.
But when I got the news then that confirmed that was DCIS, I was distraught. Yeah.
And what's the first thing you kind of think of in that moment? Like, are you just like, what's next? Like, what's the plan?
Well, to be honest, I didn't even think
don't
of any
think-
of that. I just kept thinking, is the baby going to be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I kept thinking, am I going to die and I'm not going to get to meet the baby? And you know, I know I'm going to say stupid things, but like they're really important things. Like, do you know what I mean? Like stupid things that come to your mind like that, but it's not really stupid. if you get
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I remember even sitting in the family room then after they told us, and my auntie Anita was sitting there and she was like, right, okay, I need to ring Kim and Jenny, my sisters.
Of course, yeah.
Kim was away and Jenny was about to leave to go to dancing. And because it was a Tuesday evening, Tuesday afternoon, my appointment was like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And we went in and the girl behind reception was like, oh, look, your consultant is delayed in theatre, so it's going to be a while. Go get some lunch and come back then about 1:30. And that morning, we went out to drive the car. We had a flat wheel, to go into the hospital for my results. I was like, this actually can't be happening. So my dad had to drop us. And then during that time, then we were waiting for the consultant. Carl went home to get the wheel and all fixed. Like, so we had loads of time. And then we didn't end up getting called in till about 4 o'clock. Had been there literally all day. Yeah. And my auntie was like to me, she was like, I knew that when they were keeping us there, she was like, I knew that was going to be
really
bad news.
It meant something.
Yeah.
That they kept you
Yeah.
there for that long.
Because if it hadn't have been, they would have been
They
like,
would have
"Look,
sent you home.
why don't you come back tomorrow or come back next week?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they sent us into there and then he was like, look, we've two options. We can do a mastectomy when you're 32 weeks pregnant, a single mastectomy, or we can wait, bring on the labour, do a section at 36 weeks, and then your double mastectomy. And I obviously opted for the first one.
And what made you lean more towards that one? Like, I'd say your head is just thinking all the options.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't really get a choice in the end, because the next day when I left, like, they rang me and they were like, you're booked in for a single mastectomy on such and such date.
Okay. They kind of told you that was what was best.
Yeah, and I think that was the best option, because getting a section and then having a mastectomy at the same time, well, not at the same time, but like a few weeks later or whatever. Like,
and they're huge surgeries. Both
yeah. So we were in the family room then, and poor Carl, like, I think he was crying more than I was crying. Like, like we were just sitting there hugging each other, and my aunt was like, I need to ring the girls, and she obviously rang the lads first to make sure that the girls were sitting down, or if they weren't doing that with the kids or anything, because obviously we didn't want to let my niece know, Marty,
No.
And I remember hearing Jenny sat around crying on the phone. She was like, oh, is she okay? Like, is Seanagh okay? Like, But it was awful.
I know, especially with your mom as well having passed.
I think that was the scariest thing.
Yeah,
she passed from breast cancer, and you're just like, here I am now. They were the words that I dreaded the most. Do you know what I mean? Like, hearing the words, you have breast cancer, is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially being pregnant.
Yeah. So then you got the mastectomy done. So mastectomy is when they take all the tissue away, isn't it, from your breast?
Yeah.
And you could only have paracetamol afterwards.
Yeah. So like after that, I think that was the 13th of February, and then I had the mastectomy then the 6th of March, and they take the full breast, the nipple and all, and then he done a reconstruction as well. I was lucky to get that. Some people have to stay flat as well.
Yeah.
Because some people need radiation, whereas this stage we didn't think that I needed chemo or anything like that.
Okay.
And I had the mastectomy then the 6th of March, and then the results from that then came back, and he took lymph nodes as well. He took like 2 or 3 lymph nodes, and it wasn't in the lymph nodes, but it had spread out of the duct a little bit, like tiny little pieces had spread out of the duct. But when I went in to get them results, he was like, yeah, you don't need chemo. It did spread out a little bit, but you definitely don't need chemo. And I was like, okay, but the oncologist wants to see it. And I was like, why does the oncologist want to see me if I don't need chemo? And he was like, they just want to explain to you why you don't need chemo. And then when I seen the oncologist, she basically told me she can't give me a right or wrong answer whether to get chemo or not. It would have been preventative chemo. Like, it wasn't really, like, there was nothing left in my body, but like, it was just for prevention.
Yeah.
So you had to make that choice really to if you wanted to get it or not. Like,
I had to make a choice, and I think if you were probably put in the same position, you would probably go for it as well. Like, it's just to prevent it reoccurring.
Of course.
Down the line, But paracetamol as well. They gave me a strong painkiller when I was in the hospital the day of the surgery after. And I can't remember what it's called, but I remember that evening then at about 7 o'clock, my auntie was getting ready to go home, and I just started puking, like literally like puking. And Anita was like, right, no, I'm staying here tonight with you. Have you got spare pajamas? I was like, yeah. And she was like, right, I'll stay here it's a night. And then I just stuck to the paracetamol after that because I was like, I just don't want to be feeling sick. I can't even remember what that tablet was called, but I wouldn't have been able to take it for too long being pregnant.
It'd probably be like a real big kind of strong one.
Yeah.
And what was that like pain like to deal with paracetamol? Is that enough to even
No,
cover it? Not at all.
No, not at all.
No.
I think like when I was in hospital, it was grand because they were timing it and they were giving it to me every like 6 hours or something.
Yeah.
And it was a drip as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it
I
was
think that
going
is stronger. I
into
think
the
Blood
cannula.
quicker,
Yeah.
is it? Yeah.
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 And then when I went home, then I was obviously with the painkillers, and I think I was taking them every 4 hours or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
As
couldn't
much as
go
you
to
could,
6
though.
hours. There was no way. Like I was literally counting down the hours to when I was due my next painkiller.
And when you're pregnant and going under surgery, like was that a concern for you as well?
Yeah.
Of like,
Yeah.
because is it like, are you meant to get surgery pregnant?
Well, I
Or
remember
it's
talking.
safe to get like,
I remember talking to my doctor in Hollis Street, and she was saying that people have gotten I can't remember what it's called, but it was a lot. I don't mean more serious, but like it's a lot more dangerous for the
Intense,
baby.
yeah.
Was it like kidney? No, not kidney. Something burst.
appendix.
Appendix. There you go.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like people, like women have gotten their appendix out now when they're
God.
pregnant.
It's right beside your room as well.
Yeah. So she was like that. Like she was like that's a lot more serious, kind of like. Do you know what I mean? A lot more scary.
Yeah.
Like something could go wrong with the baby
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But no, like I remember the anesthesia saying to me, when you go under anesthetic, your baby will go asleep as well.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
I was going to ask you, like, was
Yeah.
that one of your biggest fears, was going under the anaesthetic and then...
Yeah, it was with the baby.
Yeah.
I think I just kept saying, what if like the baby, it goes against the baby, or like something happens.
Yeah.
And I remember when it was confirmed that I was getting the surgery, I was like, right, we need to speak to the consultant because I can't go underneath it. Because when you're pregnant and you lie down, like you can't breathe because the baby's literally like lying and everything.
Oh, wow.
Not that you can't breathe, but like I always felt
Feels like a weight
I
on you.
couldn't-
Like,
You
Yeah,
shouldn't be on
I
your back,
couldn't.
should you? Are you meant to be like on your side?
on your
or something?
side. So I was like, you need to get a wedge underneath the side, underneath my side, so I'm on a little tilt, like.
yeah.
And when I was going in to be put under anaesthetic, I remember saying it to the woman. I was like, I'm not on a tilt. I'm not on a tilt. Make sure I'm on a tilt. But they tilted me there and then, just to put your mind at
Wow.
ease. But yeah, it was really scary going underneath the anaesthetic with the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you woke up, like, did you know straight away that everything had went okay? Like everything was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, like when I woke up, my auntie and Kim were standing at the end of the bed, and like that I was telling you earlier on, I looked down and there was a boob there, and I was like, oh my God, did he actually take it? Like, am I after like going through anaesthetic for nothing? Like, but like that, he done the reconstruction and he expanded it out to kind of suit the right side as well.
Yeah.
Although like they weren't really, they're still not the same size, but like completely different shapes. Like I've a big scar going across this one, no nipple.
Yeah.
But yeah, knocks your confidence.
I know. It's so much
Yeah.
so hard. And you have the gene as well. Is the BRCA
the
gene?
BRCA2 gene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you find out that you had that?
So my mum was, she was tested for that before she
Yeah.
passed away. And I got tested in, I think it was 2017. I got tested and found out that I had it.
So that makes you more prone to getting any kind of cancer.
Breast
higher
cancer and
chance-
ovarian cancer.
An ovarian, okay.
Yeah.
And can anyone just get tested for that, or like is it only if somebody
In your family.
has had
Only
it?
if someone in your
Is
family
it?
has had
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
So like if one of your parents or one of your aunties or anything have the BRCA2 gene or BRCA1, there's BRCA1 as well, that has a higher percentage of getting breast cancer or ovarian cancer. So if any of your relatives have that gene, then you can go get tested as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, you can then do things to prevent it, like getting your
Yeah, so you can
Ovaries
get your
taken out.
double mastectomy. You can
Yeah.
get is it called an oophorectomy? For your ovaries?
a
Oophorectomy.
hysterectomy. No.
Hysterectomy is your room.
Oh, your room. Yeah.
So it's in,
Yeah.
I think it's an oophorectomy. Your ovaries removed and fallopian tubes as well. Yeah.
They're also to do with surgeries as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
God. And you want to get your ovaries removed at some point, don't you?
Yeah, I will eventually have my
eventually,
ovaries
yeah.
removed.
Yeah.
Is that like a preventative thing,
Yeah.
or what made you decide to do that?
That's a preventative.
Is it?
Yeah. That's when you have the BRCA2 gene or BRCA1, you'd have a double mastectomy and your ovaries and fallopian tubes removed. I remember actually saying it to my doctor in Hollis Street. I was like, when you were doing my section, I was like, could you take my ovaries and fallopian tubes at the same time? And she was just
Get it
like-
all done in the one.
She was like, absolutely not. She was like,
wide awake.
yeah, she was like, I could probably take your fallopian tubes, but definitely not your ovaries. It's too,
Oh my God.
what word did she use? Like she's like, you'd bleed a lot. Like it'd be too much.
If everything was
if something went wrong. And
Yeah.
I was just like, okay. It was actually my sister Kim that put it into my head to ask her.
2-in-1, girl, get it all done.
Yeah.
Oh.
But even when I was in hospital getting my mastectomy, my sister Jenny, she was actually in hospital in labour.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, so I was in on the 6th of March. I think she was due the baby on the 6th of March, and she went in on the 6th of March. And the nurse in there, we both went to Holles Street, so they kind of knew of my diagnosis as well. And the nurse said to Jenny, "Look, the midwife, whoever she was, I know you don't want to have this baby today while your sister's in there getting her mastectomy." And Jenny was like, "No, absolutely not."
Yeah.
And I remember saying to Jenny then after, I was like, I kept thinking that I'd be under anaesthetic and I'd die, and then you'd bring a life into the world. Do you get me? Like,
You'd be like a reincarnation.
Yeah,
like, oh my God.
You know, like just kept going through my head. And Jenny goes, Seanagh, that's exactly what went through my head. So then she had Macklin then on the next day.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he waited.
Yeah.
Oh
And how was your C-section? How was all that process? And
it was grand. Yeah, it was like I had gone through a C-section on Mila anyway, so I kind of expected it. Like it was grand. It was 7 weeks after the mastectomy, so I was kind of not over it, but the recovery of it was kind of finished, if you get me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a planned section, wasn't it? So you knew. At that point, I'd say you're just like, I just want to have this baby.
Yeah, I just wanted to have her
on the outside
here, so I knew she was safe. And and then just get through then the section and then go on to chemo.
Yeah. How has it affected, you were saying about your confidence of like your mastectomy, how does that affect your confidence going through chemo and surgery and things?
Yeah, absolutely. Like knocks you. Absolutely knocks you. Yeah. Like I'll probably get upset now, but yeah, I just like my hair was like my little confidence boost.
yeah.
If I was going on a night out and my hair was done and my makeup wasn't, I wouldn't care.
Really?
Like, you know, like
That's
it was
your
just
thing.
Yeah. And my hair was quite thin as well. So when I always constantly wore extensions. So once my hair was done, I was grand, not a bother. And then I think being pregnant and then having a mastectomy and still having a bump and like this being all out of shape, like it's like a square. Well, it was like a square, but they put more fluid in the top of it. But it's just like you can't wear certain things. And
I feel like that would not mess with anyone, but I feel like that would affect anyone. The fact of being pregnant, having your mastectomy, like your body going from what you've always known as, or like the way it used to be, to changing so much.
That
would affect
so rapidly as well.
Yeah. And then even having the baby and then still having your baby pouch and then like looking like that on this side, like it's just it's horrible.
At what point did you lose your hair? Was it after chemo finished? Or?
So the chemo started like 3 weeks after I had the baby, and I actually didn't lose my hair for about 4 weeks. Like the hair on my head, didn't start losing it for about 3-4 weeks. And Carl's a barber, so the minute it started falling out, I was like, Carl, well, he used to be a barber. I was like, go on, get your barber bag and just shave it. I was like, don't make a big deal of it, just shave it, like you know. And then my eyebrows and lashes, they only fell out 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and I was finished chemo. I finished chemo like on the 6th of August.
Yeah.
And apparently your eyebrows and lashes are the last to go. My eyelashes used to be real long. I did care about my eyebrows, but like my eyelashes were like the main reason I was so upset. Like, you know, like I was like, oh, I look even more sick now and I'm not even going through anything, like as in going through chemo anymore. You know?
Like, have you... Like, is it normal for them to fall out after the chemo's done with? Or?
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently they're the last to go.
And did they just grow back then? Do they grow
They're
back
already grown back.
Yeah.
There's loads there already.
Yeah, your
loads of
eyebrows look
eyelashes.
amazing.
I actually put mascara on this morning.
Yeah.
And it looked so stupid. I was like, oh my God, I need to take this off. Oh my God. I literally looked like I just had black eyeliner here. Black eyeliner here. I was like, take that off.
Well, I feel like hair, like face hair grows so quick, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like,
it does. And I've been using rosemary oil as well. So I feel like that's really good.
Yeah.
But I think after chemo, during chemo, I was so like focused on just getting to the next week to get the next chemo done and over with. And we were so focused on getting Milo out. It was summer. And we didn't really have a great summer, but like as in like, you know, just getting her out to do activities, bringing her to the balls, bringing her to the park, getting stuff done. And I was so focused on keeping her busy, getting to the next chemo session, getting it over and done with, that I didn't have time to think about how I was actually feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas when I finished chemo, it was kind of everything just kind of
Came on
like
top of
slowly, it not even came on top of me, but everything kind of slowly stopped, as in like not many people were texting to see how you're doing, how's the chemo, how are you feeling, blah, 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 you know, and then everything just like hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is actually, I remember speaking to Carly Mahady and she was like, Seanagh, it's going to hit you after.
I always see her talking about that, saying it's after the fact that you're like, whoa, what just happened? Yeah.
What have I just gone through? Like that actually really happened. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think it was like a week or so after I stopped chemo, I just got so sick. My eyes were swelling, like everything. It was like all the symptoms hit me at once, you know, like symptoms of chemo.
Yeah.
Like I had little bits of tingling in my fingers, like only a little tiny bit, not much. But like it was like I had a head cold and I was putting it down to hay fever, or like it was either hay fever and I was putting it down to a head cold. Like, you know, I just felt so sick the past, like I was so down, like non-stop crying.
Yeah. It must be hard as well when people stop checking in because they assume that chemo's over, like everything's great, but you're actually still in treatment now. You're getting an injection. Is it every week?
Yeah, a HER2 injection every 3 weeks. Herceptin.
What does that do? The injection, like what?
So my breast cancer was HER2 positive. It's basically like a protein that promotes the growth of cancer cells. So I have to continue with them HER2 injections now until I think it's May or June next year. I can't remember when I started chemo. I think it was May. Yeah, it must have been May because it was 3 weeks after the baby was born. So I'll continue them now until May next year. I don't know why they have to do them for a year, but like when I was getting the chemo, it used to be through a drip with chemo at the same time, if you get me.
Okay.
But because I don't need chemo anymore, they just bring you in to give you an injection.
Yeah.
And it's so sore. I actually got it done yesterday. Last time when I got it done, it was sore last time as well, but it wasn't as sore. And then this time, it was like she just took her time injecting it in, and it was just...
Is it in your arm?
No, we top of your leg here.
Top of your leg.
Yeah, well, it was that leg last time and that leg yesterday. Yeah.
No,
you just said
for something like that, I'd want to be like, quick, go.
Yeah, I know. And then I don't know if she does it fast that it might get sore. I don't know because I didn't want to ask her to go a bit faster. I was like, don't go fast. You know.
Oh my God.
But
and is that something that you'd want to like tell other people who know someone going through cancer, of like to be there for them even after the chemo ends, and to give them just as much love, because that's especially when you need, because when you're in that moment of getting something done or going through something, like you're so focused on that like it's great having people there, but it's nearly after the fact you need them more.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I even remember when I had the baby, like I remember when I had Mila, and I was like, right, we need to stop everybody visiting us, cut off visitors for a week or whatever. But when I had Malin, I was kind of the same with that, and it was the same when I was going through chemo and all. It was like I wanted people there, but then I was just like, oh, there's too many people surrounding me. Like, you know, it's more so tell people to text or ring if they feel like you need them, or like don't just show up at someone's door.
No,
definitely just don't. Don't just show up. You can't do that when someone's going through treatment or after having a baby. Like,
I feel like in general, if someone just randomly knocked on my door, I'd be like, go away.
I'd hide.
I'm not in.
I would hide behind the curtain.
Yeah,
I'm not joking. I'd be looking out like that. I remember someone knocked at the door, and it was one of them people that like are asking about your prepaid power or your electricity or something. And they knocked at the door, and I got Mila and I dragged her in behind the curtain. I was like, get in here now.
I look at the ring doorbell sometimes and I'm like,
no,
not
today. Not today.
No.
Yeah.
So as well with chemo, I only know this because of like watching Carly's stories and stuff. There's a lot of like after effects of it as well.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of people who don't know just assume that like chemo done, you're fresh, you're grand? Like
like a lot of people, like I remember someone saying to me, "Are you delighted it's all over?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they were like it's all like your treatment and all is over. And I was like, it's not. I was like, I still have to go get an injection every 3 weeks. I still have to get the expander removed and an implant put in. I still have to get my other mastectomy on the other side. I still have a lot of things ahead of me.
Like,
But it's not even just that. It's all your head as well. Like my head at the moment is messed. Like I feel like I'm going from being happy to being sad. Do you know what I mean? Like
I know.
Sorry.
Oh God. Like one day, like I can be. It's like I'm hiding behind a smile. Like sometimes.
Oh, it's so hard.
But yeah, no, it is. It's so hard, and like there's so many people that are going through it, and so many people that are only starting off as well. That like I'd just say to them, there's so many bad days that you're gonna get, but know that the good days are definitely coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had a great time in Disneyland last week.
Yeah.
Like for the three days, like, you know. And now that I'm back to normal, I'm just like, oh God, it's like a shit show again. Like, do you know what I mean? Oh God, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But
do you find it's very up and down? Like one day you can feel one day, or
it's definitely up and down. Like one day, like you're grand, there's not a bother on you, like, and then the next day you're just like, oh my God, I just want to stay in bed all day.
Yeah.
No, I've never done that.
I was going to say, do you allow yourself to have those days?
No,
or
not really.
No.
Just because of Mila.
Yeah.
Like Mila is 5, she'd remember it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So, like that, like I mean, my auntie lives around the corner from me and she has been amazing since Mila has been back in school. She texts me every morning saying, do you want me to come around and sit with the baby while you bring Mila to school, or do you want me to come around and get Mila and I'll bring her to school?
Yeah.
And I've taken her up on them offers. Usually, like I'd be like, no, it's grand, like you're fine. But yeah, she's coming, taking Mila to school.
And speaking of Mila, how, if you don't mind me asking, like, how did you break all that news to her? And like,
I didn't really tell her.
Did you not?
No, like I didn't tell her that like Mammy had cancer, or like it was more that she was gonna know after I lost my hair, obviously.
Yeah.
But I did say to her, I was like, Mommy's gonna have hair like Daddy soon. And she was just like, are you? Why? And I was like, because the medicine that I take makes me lose my hair. I said, but it's okay. I said, because it's all going to grow back.
Yeah.
And she was just like, oh, okay. And then, like, I think it was a Monday or Tuesday night or something that I shaved my head, and I completely forgot the next morning. You know, like lying in bed. Like, obviously, I remembered that I shaved it. Or I forgot that Mila hadn't seen it, and she woke up and she was coming in, and I was like, Carl, Mila is coming in. I was like, she's going to see me here. And he was like, yeah, it's grand. Yeah, it's grand.
Yeah,
she came in, she didn't even notice.
Did she not?
She didn't even notice. Got up on the end of the bed and she was like, is Malin awake?
See, I love kids.
I was like,
they're just
resilient.
Yeah, they just have that innocence about them that they don't care.
Yeah.
Like they just love you for being
for
mom.
you.
Like,
yeah. But then when I showed her a picture, I remember her seeing a picture of me ma, and she's like, oh look, Nanny Margaret has no hair as well. Like. And I was like, I was like, me and Nanny Margaret are twins. Yeah. And she was like, did she have to take that medicine as well? And I was like, yeah. You know, it's just like them little things. And to be honest, the kids just kept me going throughout it all. They were great to have.
Really,
you know?
Give you so much strength.
Yeah.
And will they get tested now for this gene, or how does it work? Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get tested.
Is there
for
a certain age, or like?
No, not really. Like I'll tell her when she's older. Like I don't think she needs to know until she's at least 18, maybe 16.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, because I don't really have anyone in my family. Well, actually, I do. Like my other cousin has the gene as well, and she's 2 girls. But I don't know if she's ever spoke to them about it. So be a thing to think about.
Yeah,
definitely. 100%.
Speak to them about it.
And have you joined any like cancer support groups or any of them, or like talked to people who have experienced it as well?
Yeah, there's so many.
That helps
like,
a lot.
Yeah. I remember when I was first diagnosed, and I was like, oh my God, I have breast cancer and I'm pregnant. What, like, who else has ever gone through this?
Very unique.
And then my sister Kim and Jenny, the 2 of them, went on to Instagram, and they found so many people. Like there's one girl in particular, girl from Cork that I know. She went through the same as me when she was pregnant, and she gave me a lot of advice as well.
Wow.
But yeah, there's loads out there that have gone through, or like that have found lumps when they're pregnant, and like late pregnancy, and they can't get them checked until the baby's out or whatever. You know,
it's not nice, but it's good to have people who you can talk to, because like obviously you have a great support network, but like no one's in your exact shoes and understands how you feel. So to have that is like it's good.
And like that, like everybody feels differently as well. But all you have to do is like give them advice and help them on whatever they need help on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I must have just obviously been naive or oblivious to. I just never thought of like getting breast cancer while you're pregnant.
Or any sickness.
No.
I don't know why I never thought that's still a possibility that can happen.
Yeah.
And did you ever consider having a mastectomy before your diagnosis, or like is that very extreme to think of to have to do that? Like
no, I definitely did.
Did you?
But like that, I wanted to finish off my family first. Like I remember the doctors always said to me, like the nurses and all that I'd go to get the breast checks, they'd always say, look, there's no, like you can go and meet plastic surgeons and all. She was like, but like the trigger age in your family is 47. My mum was 47 when she was diagnosed. She was the youngest out of all her sisters to be diagnosed. She was like, so like I wouldn't really get it done straight away until you're at least 40.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
then I was 31 when I was diagnosed.
So it's based off the person in your family, what age they got diagnosed at.
Well,
That's like
yeah, the youngest, I think, yeah. Yeah, the trigger age is what they call it. But to be honest, if anybody that I know had the BRCA gene and they wanted advice, I'd say get your family finished and have them straight away, or even get a double mastectomy first before you have your family.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't want anybody to go through it.
No.
It's not nice.
And you had shared on Instagram the hashtag work to rest? No,
Oh,
I'm going to say it wrong.
leave or leave.
Leave or leave, yeah. Where basically people who have cancer and go on maternity leave, their maternity leave is all taken up by
treatment.
And then they actually don't get time to rest. So they're trying to change that now.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important.
I think it came in.
Did
it was brought in? I'm nearly sure it was brought in a few weeks ago.
So was it to give people going through treatment an actual maternity leave after treatment kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
So like my whole maternity leave is taken up by treatment.
Yeah.
I'm due back into work next month, and like that, but that won't be for me. Like I can't claim that back.
Can you not?
No.
Is that
I think it's just going forward.
Right.
If someone is diagnosed with breast cancer while they're pregnant, I think they can delay their maternity leave.
Yeah.
So I think they'll go through their treatment then and then take their maternity leave.
Okay.
Get me?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so. It should already be a thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm nearly sure
from
that's
now.
being brought in.
Yeah. But it should have been all along.
Should have
really.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that's not really resting at all.
Yeah.
No.
You're going through treatment.
I think even people that have been diagnosed with cancer, with any type of cancer, like, it should be taking a sick leave, but it shouldn't actually be, you know, the way like in certain jobs you only get a certain amount of sick leave days, sick days.
Yeah.
Or some jobs you don't get sick days.
Yeah.
I think with cancer, I think it just should be like
completely
taken off.
No,
and, like leaving
It's
it
not
as
like
cancer
the
leave.
flu, like it's completely different situation. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Whereas I think all my sick days in work are gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
God,
Yeah.
And what advice would you have for anyone now maybe going through treatment or who knows someone going through treatment as well, like how to be there for them?
As in, like, what advice would I give to a cancer someone that has been diagnosed?
Yeah.
Rest as much as you can. Cry. Ring somebody if you need to speak to anybody. Ring somebody, because I felt like even when I was going through, I felt like I kind of held everything in, and then went home and cried on my own.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I don't like crying in front of people. Clearly don't. I feel like it was more so I didn't want to be putting anything on other people.
Yeah.
Because like,
is that how you felt? Like that you couldn't like.
I've so much support around me,
Yeah,
but I just didn't want to put anything on them.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Like I didn't like, even like with Carl, with my sisters, with my aunties. Like I had, not that I had put so much on them already, but like I didn't want them seeing how sad I actually was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't express it enough.
Yeah.
And I think anybody out there, I think express it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Show your emotions.
Yeah.
Like show how.
Because I'm sure they would have wanted you to tell them everything, but like, you just don't want to show.
Yeah. And I think it was more so for Mila as well. Like, it's like some days Mila saw me crying and she'd be like, "Why are you crying, Mommy?" And I was just like, "Oh, just something in my eye." You know, like, I know.
It's hard when it's a child though as well to explain, like.
But I'd say, reach out to people, talk to them, definitely go to counselling or therapy or whatever suits, and you're definitely going to get your bad days. And when you do, just focus on the ones that are coming, the good days. Yeah.
And then advice for people who know someone going through treatment and like how to be there for them, like because I think sometimes people who mightn't be like close family or friends like don't know what to say or like how to say, like what is the best way to go about being there.
It's mad because even now, like if one of my friends turned around and told me that they were going through like a cancer diagnosis, I wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Honest God, I genuinely would not know what to say.
I think it's the Irish in us. We're really bad with like
with
comforting, I think.
Yeah. But I would say text them, make sure you're there for them day and night. Don't just show up at their door.
No.
Text them, even text a family member and see if they're all right and give them whatever advice you can give them. Yeah. I think it's really hard to know what to say to someone that has been diagnosed with cancer. Yeah. It really is, like, get as much rest as you can, and even like, it's really hard to know what to do for someone that has gone through cancer.
Yeah. And next May, then when I forgot the name of the injections that
Herceptin.
when you finish them in May, what happens then? Like what?
There's no plan.
No.
I don't think I have to go on like long-term medication or anything like that because the chemo was preventative chemo. I don't think I have to go on anything else. Just kind of, I'm hoping that by then my other mastectomy will be done, so I won't have to get that done. And then after that, then I'll just have to focus on getting my ovaries removed.
Okay.
But that won't be until at least 2026.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to give myself a break. Because I'm getting married.
You get married? When you get married?
Next October.
Oh, you buzzing.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Hoping my hair will be a little bit long.
Yeah, defo. I'll shoot down.
Yeah.
Ask Carly Maddie for some tips.
Sorry, the length of her hair.
Where
What?
Overnight,
if I could cut hers off and put it on mine.
Honestly,
oh my God.
honestly.
She had really thick hair anyway.
I
didn't
did.
she?
I remember Carly when she was like 15 or 16, and she was like a disco dancer or like a teeny bopper doing all her disco dancing, and her hair would be down to her knees. And I just
she has enough hair for like 10
it's like a rope.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Her hair is amazing.
Your hair will be like that next November. Or next October.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, but a bit. Like, my hair was real thin anyway, so I'm just hoping that it grows back.
I never knew your hair was thin, but did you always have extensions?
You wouldn't know because I always had extensions.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Towards like, I remember when I was pregnant at Mila, it was like it got real thick, and then after it kind of like it was like here, like I always used to have to put brown spray in it. Because it literally looked like I'd have a bald patch. No, I didn't, but like it was just so thin that it looked like I'd have a bald patch.
People say that during pregnancy, it grows and then it will just come out.
And then it just comes out.
Yeah, and like your hairline and everything.
Yeah. My hairline is shy anyway. Like, but
come here, it could come back different.
Yeah, well, I have one of those little rollers, you know, the rollers.
Little pin thing.
That men use on their beards. I got it, and I'm literally doing it here and here and here and here. I'm doing it.
I've been like rolling my forward.
On my eyebrows and all to get them to grow back. Yeah.
You can now get like nipple tattoos. Oh, can't you have seen them?
Yeah.
They look unreal.
Do they look
good? Like a real like full on,
Yeah, no, I think certain ones can be dodgy, but my plastic surgeon, my auntie was actually telling me, like my plastic surgeon can like create a nipple out of skin.
Wow.
So like you'll still have like a point if you don't wear a bra. Do you know what I mean?
Just so they match or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that one will be on anyway. So they're both going to be hopefully the same. And so she was saying that she can create a nipple out of skin, and then you could get the tattoo then over it.
So like the colour of it kind of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now I'm not sure like
what way
she can do it because I haven't spoke to her about it yet, but my auntie was telling me that she can do it, so
that'd be
hopefully
amazing.
fingers crossed.
I know.
Yeah.
It's all up from here.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And what are your plans now? So you're going back to work in October?
No.
You're not going back.
I'm due back.
You're due. Okay, you're not.
No.
Yeah.
So that'll be on pause for I don't know how long. I'm actually going in tomorrow to talk to them, but
you come first. Of any like job.
Sure, I feel like I didn't even get time with the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely that'll be on pause till at least probably next year maybe.
Yeah.
But like that, I have a wedding to pay for, so I have to go back. And just back teaching and going on with life as usual.
Yeah. It's great. I'd say it's crazy looking back. You're gonna be like, what the hell? How did that just happen in that blip? Like,
I know. So I think when I finished chemo, I kind of expected my hair to be back straight away, not to lose my eyebrows, not to lose my lashes. You know, like you have a thing in your head, like when you finish chemo, like it's gonna be all finished. It's gonna be all done.
Do you just think you're like, thanks.
Like honest God, I was counting down today to my last day of chemo, and it was then where it all hit me. Like the week after that, it was just when I didn't go in for chemo the next week, I was like, oh, what am I doing? Like,
that was
like,
your
how am I
for so long. Yeah,
it wasn't even. It was like you were counting down days to your next chemo, so you could get like, oh, I've done 8 chemos, like I only have 3 left or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't have that anymore. Like, so I don't have like I can't see an end date yet until I get the date for my mastectomy on this side.
Yeah.
And obviously the ovaries as well, but like that can definitely wait until at least the end of next year.
Yeah. And the mastectomy, have they given you around like a estimate of a date?
No, when I was in last where she was like, oh, I didn't realise you were getting married in October next year. And I was like,
hello.
But it's not even that. I think it's more so for me head as well. Like, if I didn't have my mastectomy done for me wedding next year, like it would absolutely break me. But it would be more for me head. Like, because like I don't even get undressed in front of Carla or Aunt.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. Like, I hate it. Yeah.
You can't
Even though in the beginning I was like, Cara, look at me scar.
Yeah.
I was like, look how well it's healing. Like,
Yeah.
but then when you're
you're
actually,
in the midst of it.
yeah, and then when you have your baby and then you have your body and you're just looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, like I literally
So
don't know what I look like, but I don't look like me.
And do you ever do you find you have like anxiety now if you feel something different in your body, or like if you're feeling sick or something? Do you think that like end up thinking the worst of stuff?
Yeah, like if I get a headache, like I'm like, all right, okay, I need to go to the hospital and get like, do you know what I mean? Because my mom spread into her spinal fluid, like, and was going up around her head.
Yeah.
I was just like, right, I need to, like, you know, like it's mad things you think. Like, even if I get a pain in my boob on this side, I'm like, oh, there we go.
Straight away.
I haven't had, like, I had a mammogram on the right side in the beginning, but like that they said that there was nothing there. But you know, like when I get my MRI in the next few weeks, I will be nervous for the results coming back.
Of course.
I know there's nothing there, but well, I don't know, but like I'm confident that there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But you know, it's still in the back of your mind.
You're always
No,
gonna
of course.
think, yeah.
I think if anybody even has anybody in their family that had cancer, or like, they'd always be nervous. Like even before I was diagnosed, or before I even had kids around, if I got a headache, I'd be straight to the doctor.
Yeah.
Like, you know, silly things.
Yeah.
But
Thinking the worst. Like,
yeah, because my mum's, hers spread into her spinal fluid and she was getting headaches.
Okay.
And they were putting it down to a migraine. Like my mum couldn't get up out of the bed. She couldn't come out of the room with the light on or anything like that. And like that, the doctor just kept saying, oh, it's just a migraine. It's a migraine. This is after she had breast cancer. All in the same, like 2 months. And they were like, yeah, it's just a migraine. And like that, they ended up doing lumbar puncture and it was in her spinal fluid. Yeah.
wow.
So it's just like little things like that, you know, like, oh my God, I have a headache. Like, it's mad.
You're gonna think the worst in case it is.
Good.
In case it is that, like in the off chance.
Yeah.
John, thank you so much for coming on.
No
You're
problem.
absolutely amazing. And I think, especially being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we need to be talking about it and
absolutely
know how to check ourselves. And your story is really like amazing, and you're so strong. So thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Subscribe to this podcast for free on the GoLoud app.